Last time on Uden Boxing, Little Man had unleashed his full power after Mr. Duck was almost killed by angry shop owner. Little Man had won, but as he went to help Mr. Duck, he passed out because he had used too much of his power. Luckily, African, Super Mexican, and Waspo came to help. As Waspo left the scene, knowing Africa and Mexican had it under control, he was grabbed and dragged into a dark void dimension. As Waspo freaked out, he heard a voice say, "I am scary Grandma." As Waspo hears this, he passes out. Waspo then wakes up in a dark room with a light that was blinking on and off. Waspo tried to punch out through the wall, but he could not. He had lost his power. He was as strong as a normal human. Waspo had to escape. As he walked through the door, he realized he was in some sort of mansion. It was dimly lit with a slight buzz coming from the lights. There was a room on each side of him, and in the middle of the room was a staircase. Upstairs, there were 2 more rooms on each side. Waspo walked silently to the downstairs door on the left. As he opened the door, he was greeted by a bunch of human corpses hanging from the roof. As blood dripped from the bodies, the ground was covered in blood. In the middle of the room was a table with a note on it. The note said, "She kept me here. She hung me up and left me to rot. As I hung here for what seemed to be years, thousands of years, she wouldn't let me die." As Waspo puts the note down, he feels a hand touch his back. As Waspo turns around, he sees a corpse wrapped in cloth. It had no eyes, no teeth, just a blank stare. Waspo, out of fear, punched it in the face. As the corpse fell to the ground, it melted into the pool of blood. Waspo ran out of the room as fast as he could. As Waspo left the room, the door vanished behind him. Waspo walked over to the room in front of him, hesitant to open the door, fearing what would be inside. He needed to push forward still. As Waspo opened the door, it seemed to be just a void. But as Waspo entered, it turned into a huge desert with multiple moons and a pink and green sky. In front of him was a huge mirror. As Waspo looked at the mirror, he felt at peace. He dwelled at the mirror for around 30 minutes. Then his reflection started to morph. Its skin started to turn black. Its jaw broke and deshinged to reveal rows and rows of teeth. Then it started to beat on the mirror. With each hit, it broke the mirror more and more. Waspo started to run back to the door. Behind him, he could hear the mirror break more and more. Right when he was about to get to the door, he heard the mirror shatter. Then Waspo heard loud thumps that got closer and closer to him. He managed to get to the door. As he turned around, he saw a dark figure with long limbs and red eyes. He slammed the door shut. Waspo just wanted it to end. He walked up the stairs to the door on the left. Waspo was scared to get close to the door, but if he wanted to escape, he needed to. Waspo went to grab the doorknob, but as he did this, the door was pushed down from the inside as a monster grabbed Waspo. As this happened, Waspo passed out. Waspo woke back up in a dark void that seemed to be underwater. He had gained back all of his powers. He then heard a voice say, "I'm done playing games with you." Then suddenly Waspo was hit with a punch to the face, sending him flying. Then Waspo was hit again, and then again, with each punch making Waspo spit out blood and bones break. Then Waspo fell into a hole full of monsters that started to dogpile him. Waspo then exploded with a white light, killing all of the monsters. But Waspo looked forward, and it was there. Waspo tried to react, but he was hit with a punch to the gut, exploding most of his internal organs. Waspo spit out blood as he started to lose consciousness. Waspo fell to the ground bleeding. Scary Grandma then put her foot on Waspo's head. Waspo lost consciousness fully. As he lost consciousness, he saw a light. It was like a door that Waspo wanted to go through. Waspo walked up the white stairs. As he got closer to the door, it slammed shut. Waspo was then grabbed by someone. As Waspo turned around, it was someone Waspo feared. It was Obese Man-Eye. Waspo jumped back in fear. As he did this, Obese Man-Eye said, "Are you really going to let yourself die like this? You survived from much worse. I let you all live because I saw potential in you. Now show me this potential I saw." As he said this, Obese Man Eye hit Waspo in the face full power, sending Waspo flying at speeds that were millions of times faster than light. A lock cracks. Obese Man Eye says, "Come on, can't you fight back?" This enraged Waspo as he hits Obese Man Eye in the face. Obese Man Eye says, "Please," as he hits Waspo with a punch to the face, sending him flying and then punching Waspo to the ground. The lock cracks more. Obese Man Eye says, "Get up, Waspo." As he says this, Waspo jumps up and hits Obese Man Eye in the face, stunning him a little. Obese Man Eye still says, "Weak. You're still so weak. Where's that power I saw in you?" As Obese Man Eye says this, Waspo is hit with a flurry of punches. As Obese Man Eye is hitting Waspo, he says, "Fight back with all the power you have. You will never save anyone if you can't even fight." The lock shatters. As Obese Man Eye says this, Waspo screams and hits Obese Man Eye in the face, sending him back and spitting out blood. As Waspo does this, Obese Man Eye says, "That's better." As he says this, he melts into the floor, vanishing. Waspo wakes back up with newfound power. He is fully healed. Waspo punches the ground. As he does this, it explodes with a white light, sending Scary Grandma flying back. Waspo stands up as a white aura surrounds him. Scary Grandma runs at Waspo to hit him in the face, but Waspo just tanks it and hits Scary Grandma in the head. Waspo then runs Scary Grandma down and hits her with a right hook, right hook, then a backhand, then a right hand slap, a left hook again, then a final right hook, sending her flying and spitting out blood. As Scary Grandma is flying back, Waspo runs her down and starts hitting her from every angle while she is still flying back. He then grabs her by the legs and spins her around. Waspo then throws Scary Grandma into the ground, but before she can hit the ground, Waspo flies past her and knees her into the sky. As Scary Grandma is flying up, Waspo flies past her again and grabs her by the neck. Waspo flies down, slamming Scary Grandma through the ground. Scary Grandma tries to get back up, but Waspo kicks her back to the ground. But then Waspo is suddenly stabbed through the stomach by Scary Grandma. But Waspo just grabs Scary Grandma by her arm and rips it off. Waspo then heals the hole in his stomach in seconds. Waspo then grabs Scary Grandma by the head and jabs her eyes out with his thumbs. Before Waspo could kill Scary Grandma, he is hit by a person. As Waspo is sent flying back, African and Super Mexican are able to break into the pocket dimension.